Now don't say anything more.
Good morning, evening, or afternoon. It's your painter in residence, Michael Francis McCarthy. Occasionally known as M. Francis McCarthy. Ooh, what are we going to paint today? Well, yesterday, like you care, I know you don't, but painted this coastal type scene. It was really a sky painting. I managed to work in a little peninsula, but of a real place. I'm very happy with that painting. It looks really nice. It's not perfect, but yeah, most of them, they're perfect in their imperfection, right? They all capture a moment in time. Best to express yourself and move on. That's my first lesson for you today. Now, I topped up my palette for you, so you don't have to wait. That's a lot of oil. That's a lot of oil. That's too much oil. Okay, let's back off of that. Yeah, by the way, decanting to these smaller and smaller jars, that's the way to go. I think this was the first time since I've been using this archival oils brand. Every time I got the 500 ml thing, and the last quarter inch to half inch turns into jelly. Every time. You know, so we have a little addition. It's very subtle, but right there it's covering up a shiny metal bit that is more distracting than that. Okay, so I've had this scene composited for a while. You'll see it when we get to the color mixing session. It's a wood scene with a path. Does that surprise you? Now, one thing is there's kind of a step down here. Which is fine. I think I'll paint it that way. We got like a hill and we're going down, which is fine. It's good. Foggy day and beautiful colors. This is roughly based on someone's. What the heck? Don't do that. Just stay good. Just stay there like that. No, it doesn't want to. It's like got this little ball thing in there. It's almost fighting me. Perhaps we can zoom in more if we do that. Nice. Huh? Just keep it like I should really just tape it or something. Anyway, you hook into the little ball thing properly, it's all good. Now I'm going to do my underpainting mix. As you've been, for the last 3-4 months, you've been hearing me complain about this burn umber, which is weak. But I was thinking, well, I don't need to add Mars black, which uglies it up. I can add ivory black because the burn umber's nature is already very quick dry. So a little bit of ivory black, and let's just get that darkness we want. I think I already went through this, but I forgot. Anyway, that's we're constantly experimenting in small ways, improving every day. Oh, that's pretty, hey? That's not ugly. I like that. I don't even need to juice it up with something to counteract the ugliness from the Mars black. I know, I'm always dissing that Mars black. It's just got a dull. Hey. Try not to knock the table, bro. We're recording here. Oh, sorry, I didn't have my microphone on. Hello. That's better. We haven't said anything of consequence yet. It's a beautiful scene. Now we're going to take some liberties with it. It's quite a complex scene. I'm going to start off by doing a drawing. Slash under all these stubbies are just getting too stubby. I'm gonna have to maybe just dispose of them. Look at these. They're very stubby. These are all worn out. No, look at them. They're too. Not this one. This one's perfect. These are just too stubby. Come on now. Come on. Look at this one. Yeah. I need to say goodbye. Yeah, that's better. I just ordered me some twos, some Robert Simmons twos. Because I noticed I don't have any more. I lean on them. I lean on them a bit. They've all turned into stubbies, you know, which is what happens when you paint all the time. Let's do our grid. Just going to do a drawing this morning. I think we might have time to do color mixing. Now what that ivory black edition won't have is opacity, but that's not as critical with this. Is that too much oil in there? I could just tell by the way it was going down. That's not. It's a little too. You don't want it too juicy. Definitely want it oiled out. I was watching, like I said, I mentioned in the last video, I was watching just one Bill Alexander. I don't know, one speed painting session. Lasts me a while, but I like Bill better than Bob. And because Bob learned everything he knows from Bill, right? And then went on to greater success. Although, I don't know, maybe. I think Bill seemed happier. Although Bob was happy too. Maybe they were both really happy. Don't know. Anyway, one thing they both do is this magic white. They cover the whole canvas with a very thin layer of the magic white. And it's got to be thin. If it's too soupy, everything goes to heck. But it doesn't seem to milk up things too bad. Like Bill Alexander was doing this very dark, moody sunset. Blue on the edges and the red and gold. Almost like the kind of thing I would do, only not the way I would do it. Because I'm not a speed painter. But it got me thinking. See, I'm getting to my point. You know me. That's kind of our horizon there. It's just the end of the path. It might even be better to have a little higher. Yeah, never hesitate to throw down a couple different horizons, you know. Don't feel like you have to stick with the photo. Yeah, sometimes it's definitely critical if you have buildings and stuff, but if it's organic, yeah, you got a lot of latitude. Okay, I'm going to reduce the image on my computer monitor, so it's pretty small. Now there's this really beautiful mass of gold and leaves, but it has one issue in that it kind of goes like this, you know. It needs to kind of go all the way off, and it's really almost a focus in a sense because it's so bright and beautiful and golden. But we'll get there. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I will call that out, and if I don't, when you see the color mixing session, which will be very soon. Also, we got in the reference, you see there's two trees very close together here, and then another tree a ways away. Yeah, we're just going to do one decent sized tree. And there's supposed to be a big storm coming, and everyone's worried about it. I'm telling you, it's just going to be, it'll be rain, but it's not going to be crazy. Kind of like that, and yeah, that feels pretty good. And we'll got this thing in the reference where they're both coming out from the same point. Never do that. Always make sure one limb's lower than the other. Nature doesn't care. But nature it may be perfect in nature. Well, that's very straight. I want a little more groove. Nothing overt, but it's just not that straight. Well, that's very long. That'd be some foliage or something up there. You know what it's all about balance, right? I don't want that too strong. Same goes for this one. Not too soon to start thinking about that. Yes. That is a lot prettier, isn't it, without the Mars Black? Funny enough, we're going to come in with Mars Black for the darker bit. Okay, so this one. And the reference much is hidden by foliage. Which we're going to do too, not in the same way though. Now, again in the reference there, you'll see there's this little skinny tree. In fact, we'll just do it right now. Really nice little skinny tree. But there was another skinny tree here, right there. I removed it using the, some kind of content aware thing. And then you'll see in the reference I drew in another tree, and you can't even tell I drew it in. I just used a pencil tool in my graphics program. These intervals are critical. It needs to be wider here. And that was a problem. There was two skinny trees, and they were both like mirroring each other. So I took this one over. Much of it will be foliage. I covered much of this one too. Intervals, yo. I don't want this tree as dark. Doesn't matter too much right now. And here, I was thinking of another tree, but I think what we'll do is just have some dark masses. That's why I like a stubby. This isn't even that stubby. It's just a worn in too. Oh, stubby's too stubby. Alright, this is good. I mean, it's not brilliant. But we do have some distinctions. Okay. Yeah, you do always have a real care with the limbs coming off. I know I get maybe even too crazy with it with just these vertical trees, because the vertical trees, that's the thing, man. Okay, I can see one thing I can improve. Just have it tilted a little bit more this way, and that'll help with that. See, that's the tree I drew in with the pencil tool. That's going to be subtler. I do like the opacity of the Mars. I'm experimenting, and we may do a little Mars and a little ivory black. Ivory black is prettier. I'm always saying that. And here I kind of miss having that. Second tree there, but maybe just something like that. Okay, it's definitely time to lose the grid. Yeah, good to lose the grid. The grid ain't helping you. Lose the grid. All right, now some of this golden. I don't want that too extreme. A little bit. It's kind of in the reference. We're going to do the perspective trick. I had that one of my easel talks. Bunch of golden leaves there. Probably won't go as intense as it is in the reference. This brush is doing a great job. Just filling things in so they're not so lonely. And then we can come in and strengthen up the trees a bit. Don't worry about over-defining. This is the key to doing this kind of scene, man. No, I think that is a mistake there. This tree is just creating too much. I gotta do something, but maybe not straight. So this pattern's repetition with variation. This is the key with the music. It's the key with so many things. Repetition, variation. That's actually working pretty well. I haven't tilted. It could even be one tree coming off from a lower, like that kind of thing. It's not bad. A little stronger. Yeah, and this kind of thing in the distance, it's not easy to do. No, it's very straight, which is okay. And there are trees and stuff here, but we don't want to get real definey. There is like this opening, which will be somewhat lit. This is pretty bothering me. I don't mind that. I don't want too much. Any limbs coming in here have very strong impact. Generally, what you'll see me do is after I have the masses worked in, I might do a few little things. Gonna need to be painted a certain way to get that foggy effect. I definitely want to try over-define things right now. I'll pull it off. So our next easel talk, I'm going to come in and do that tomorrow. Usually it's my day off, but I come in. There's not that many people here in the morning. So like this is Saturday. There's definitely things going on here. You'll hear the cars coming and going. Sunday is usually quieter, although they have been running some courses. It's getting thick. don't want things thicker at the top of the tree than the bottom. We know that. That's a pretty good compromise. Having these two meet here, that's good. I don't want those echoing. I think that one's more important than this. I'm starting to think about ways I want things to come in here. So maybe just less of an angle. No, no, no. Trying to get some curve or something into that, but something needs to happen here. It's like a little gutter your eye stays in, so no. Great thing about painting nature is there's rules. The rule is that it needs to look good. what kind of rule is that, Mike? Well, that's the main rule. You'll know it when you see it. Like that was creating a gutter, and we don't want that. So I just kind of start smacking things in there until it starts working somewhat. But we don't want to solve every problem right now. Well, we've solved most of them, I'd say. This definitely, I like how it's much lighter at the top. I think I'm going to stick with that. That's not usually my way. Usually I close things up. But there's a lot of things. I know it seems like another path with the forest, but there's a lot of things about this that are different. Okay. I'd say that drawing is done. Just remind me, I don't want my trees to, I want to break them up a little. This is another like little gutter. Okay, that's it. Drawing's done. Let's look at the time here. We got time to do color mix, maybe. Let's do it. Okay, let's do some color mixing. All in all, I'm pretty happy with that underpainting color. Don't know, like, I think hopefully when I get in, Jerry will be alright, but can be helpful at this stage, just to, all of this is going to get covered up in some way, shape, or form. I think that's one of my dad's old expressions, way, shape, or form. It's funny how things carry forward. Oh, we'll dedicate this painting to you, Dad. Yeah. His name was Arnold. He was pretty good. He's a real introvert. A bigger introvert than me, and that's saying a lot. Well, I'm introverted, but I can, I can talk. We all know you can talk, Mike. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's start with our distant gray. It's kind of going to be the color that marries everything together. It's sort of sky tone. We want that a little warmer, I think. It's a lot warmer, but that's pretty good. And I can modify that a bit as I go. Don't worry, I'm not going to get my little scrapey one. These are scrapey enough, I know. Nice, we're off to a great start. then basically a lighter version of that. And the top, same 3 colors, 4 I mean, burnt umber, marsh yellow, titanium buff. Why is that darker? That's great. Like, good. Actually, that could come in very handy. I'm just going to go with that. I'm just going to tuck you in over here. You're going to be handy. Just steal a little bit of you to make that lighter color. How about that? It's a little warmer. That's nice. That's going to be up at the top. We're going to have a bright. I'm not closing it at the top. I'm not going to dare. I don't know how much of that I need, but whatever. That's it for the sky. Okay? Start with that. The darks. I'm sorry I'm aligning you more as black. You're very handy for what I want you to do, which is be opaque and be dark. You're not as pretty as ivory black, but you're, effective. That's pretty good. Let's add a little bit of matter to that. What's it matter? Oh. Okay. Now you're looking at my reference. I know it'd be great for you to have it all the way through. Maybe I'll evolve to some point like that. So I went from not ever sharing it to, Rich, friend of the channel, asked me to put it up at the beginning. I was doing that for a long time. It used to be just up on the monitor in the coloring sessions, which is not that clear. And then this is even better, really, because you can see it. This is when it matters. This is when I'm actually getting the input. No, I guess I'll just put you there. Okay, got a range of greens, and they have the smoky quality. It's the fog, so it can be a little iffy because you're bringing in the Mike's Gray, you're bringing in white. Okay, but let's build our green. Dark. This is our dark green, but again, it's a foggy-ish. Will it actually come off as foggy? Yeah, we hit it, man. Look. You're seeing the reference. You're seeing this. Now, that could be a little darker, maybe. Actually, no, we don't know. I don't know if we need all that, but there it is. Not a lot of greens right up the middle. By the way, like a color like yellow ochre has already got that kind of chalky, and foggy is another way of saying chalky. That's nice. Look at that. Okay, good. Now I am going to have some more strident tones, but I'm liking that. That's the basic Mike's Gray and yellow ochre mix. Mike's Green, I mean, sorry. Yeah, that's good. That could go darker, but whatever. We'll worry about that when we actually start painting. These premixes, don't get hung up on nothing, man. Just do it quick. It's your first idea. It's a great way for you to kind of start just moving towards the painting. Break things down into great stages of steps. I'm not saying I'm the best. I know I'm probably not the best painting teacher ever, but I'm the best painting teacher ever for the way I paint. Right? You can't disagree with that. It's facts. Alright, now I tend to squint, and that's something I don't point out a lot. I see a lot of grays, man, and then I see this kind of clayish tone, which is very close to board color. And then the golds, and that's almost everything. A couple more grays for the road and stuff. So, let's do this clayish clay? Are you clayish? There. 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 Almost the same as the stuff I was doing for the sky. A little more oomph. Gosh, we're hitting it. Yeah, we're hitting it. That's nice. And a bit of burnt umber. I'll just give it a little more body. That's nice. That's great. That'll help hold things together. And you can see everything here is a bit subdued, except for when we start moving into, I think we're going to do that now too, these gold tones. I'm going to do two, a light, a yellowy, and a darker orangier, but not orange in any kind of overt way. So we're going to start with that, and we're going to bring in some of this. These two mix together really well. Mars yellow and burnt umber. Look at that, it's beauty. It's like a dark burnished gold. Maybe a little of this. I didn't change much. Yellow ochre is not that strong. I like that. I'm just going to go with that. That's going to be kind of my under gold. You say, that don't look gold. You know, it's burnished. It's burnished. Don't argue with me. Whoa, that's pretty close to that. Let's give a little more presence. Okay, now we can see. That was an addition of burnt sienna, which gave it a little more chroma and color, a nicer spread. So I'm always looking for a spread. Like these two are real close together. I've already told you I'll deal with that when I'm actually painting, because I want to make sure there's a real spread between the darkest dark and this, which there definitely is. This is lesser of a spread, but I'm not even seeing tons of this color. I'm seeing more of that color. So we'll go. Okay, would you say that doesn't even look like gold to you? Just okay. Just be patient. I'm gonna get a little of this there, and instead of the yellow ochre. That's going to be too screamy, too poppy, but we'll start there, and then we'll probably knock it back with a little yah-ha-ha-ha. Yah-har. We'll knock it back with some raw umber. That's our light gold. See? Nice. Now, there's lighter tones in the painting, but I think that's good. We can bring in some more cads and yellow ochres and things as we're painting. I want it kind of more middly, and that's a great for these premixes. Yeah, always think, you know, you've got a whole range of tones. You don't need to premix all of them. That would be silly. Don't do it. Just go right up the middle. Be the middle person. Okay, what are we missing? Not much really. Another gray. Yeah, I guess I'll do it. Well, we'll make the basis of this one raw umber instead of burnt umber. That's a different feeling. I'm gonna have to darken it. Generally speaking, for in the mixes, it's way dark and too absent color. Well, not really. I'm looking at spots that could almost be construed as a green. I'm gonna leave it. I'm good. And we're not going to worry about a lighter gray. We're going to have a bunch of other stuff here sitting around on the palette, so there's no need for that. That's going to represent more gluing things together in this painting. What I love about this reference is the colors in it. That was my original inspiration, and I want a lighter, airier kind of feel. That's one of the reasons for all the swab action on the drawing. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Colors are mixed. We'll see you after lunch, God willing, okay? If not, then it'll be Monday, I guess. But no, we're going to get... I think I got a good feeling. My wife's home today, so she can... And Jerry's doing really good, too. He's doing great. See ya. See you soon. Hello. We're back from lunch. I just noticed something too in this reference. You know, there's like a bit of sky there, and then there's like a tree, but it's faded out. That could be a good use of that color, which I think I might just tap a little green into. You know, this one. When I say green, I mean perylene. Green / black. Ooh, nice. Ooh, a little more warmth than that. There we go. That's nice. Right. Okay. Now I'm going to put my teapot on. I was going to run it, but I noticed it diffuses the sounds of the claps. I'm probably going to regret messing with that. That's okay. It's not centered exactly, but we'll deal with it. I'm going to use this flat velvet cement. It's new, but I mean I've had it for years. I've owned it for years. Didn't have my microphone on my lapel. Now we do. Now we're going to tap darker here. With saturation, so it wasn't just darker. It was, I added some nice raw umber. This is nice. I don't want that too open there. Back to me. Okay. You're looking for patterns, so like mostly unpleasant patterns. I hate to say it, because you'll create these patterns, and the like we're painting basically negative space right now, so you don't want to get immobilized or anything. I ain't saying that. You know, do your thing. Okay, as we come off to the other areas, maybe we'll bring in a little more of that warmth. Nice to be painting. My wife was working on her master's. Basically kicked me out. It's a presentation, a slide presentation. She kicked me out. All right, that's nice. That's dark sky slash foliage slash whatever. And here's the light one, and that's pretty light. Brush doing a nice job. So what do the flats have going for them that the filberts do not? This little corner I'm using right now, but ultimately, like I said, I ordered some more of these Robert Simmons. I ordered filberts, and we'll find out, because I actually haven't. You see that? That's what's creating all that disturbance. End of the world, but that's nice. Maybe a little brighter. A little air in that. That's one of those shapes I was talking about. It's not that unpleasant, but it's a process, you know. Happy with that. I can tell you that even with all my, I'll probably still end up with some shapes that I won't totally love, but that I'm okay with. That's just called a style. That's good. We're done with the sky. Didn't take long because there ain't much sky there to see. That color could come in handy for all sorts of things there. All right, check out the book. 13 years of accumulated painting knowledge about how to work in a tonalist way, all in one book, and I will send it to you anywhere on the planet for $65 US, and international shipping's included. We got demonstrations in there. We got all straight in the darks. Now I haven't given that much thought, but I'm going to lean into a very smaller, not a very smaller, just a smaller brush. That's a Silver Grand Prix Zero. Yeah. had the reference image fairly large on screen, but now we're going to zoom out. That's nice. That's looking really good. This is not very much like me, but I think that's working great. This is the darkest tree. It's quite thin, and the reason that I like the Mars black is so that I can work thin. With the darks and still have them be dark. So the main thing you're doing with the painting is you have an intention. If your desire to succeed is too great, that you won't get that. It doesn't work that way. If you have an intention to paint, to express yourself, we can go thinner here. You likely will have a good result, especially if you're applying yourself, which is called taking action, right? You got to take action. You can't just sit there and wish to be a great painter. Not even going to do much. You have the intention of being a great painter, and you're painting all the time, and you're not too invested in outcomes. You just do your best. Now, here we're going to, I'm going to have to get some swabs out. I'm going to open this up a little. Not back there. And in fact, that I'm going to probably bring in some gray. Not so much down here, but as it moves up. Just less pressure. I am extending the, I'm working quite lightly, but I've extended the darkness a bit, diffusing it, because what I'm not that interested in with this painting is super dark. Nice, happy with that. My favorite foliage brush, the treacle. Filbert 2 or the 4, depending on the size of the painting. Now I'm looking at these greens. I'm looking at this thing I mixed. I remember making it pretty muted. Let's have a look. Yeah, we can juice that up a little. I mean, green it up a little, especially for one section I'm looking at. Now that dulled it. I like that. And that's really here. It's a bit more chromatic maybe than I want to be. Yeah, so the filbert, you got the toe. Okay, that's really, that was just important to me. Get some, will be more grays coming in there, but I'm liking that. That's already a lot grayer. Things over here in general were red. I didn't mix any red, but I was just thinking, as I was painting the next color, I might just splash in a reddish tone. It's I'm just doing a little green here. Like I said, I don't see tons, but you don't want to just have green on one side of the painting, none on the other. That's a ooh. Okay. Yeah, I did mix a red-ish right here. That'll be the one. Sort of a board color. Amp it up a little bit. It's not that far off from board color. There's a bit chromatic there, but that's okay. I think it's okay. We've this is another thing I love for the filbert. You can get these kind of nicer. You do that with a flat too. You get these like little straighty. Get ready to drop a hair. Okay, so trails, paths. Don't do it right up the middle. Now this can have a bunch of leaves on it, gold. That's actually the color I just laid in up here. That's the darker. A little more of that greenish. If you can possibly manage it, just try to avoid defining things. Don't need to be defined, and your painting will be way more successful. That's been the hard lesson for me. Now, it's not like you can enforce it. You can try and remember as you're working, of course. But it's more kind of something that you learn by, well, trying to remember, of course, yeah, but you're making decision as you paint. It's infinite, and it's a definite collaboration between conscious and subconscious, or rational mind and your soul, however you want to put it. It's looking nice. Oh, it's looking really nice. Okay, so I think let's scrape some of this up. Let's start getting some of these other colors here. Yeah, I can see something I want to do now. Nice. Okay. Just working with one of my agents to do a transcription of these live videos, and I know it's very tough. And it's because I'm yelling at them because they like to just get creative and summarize things, but it comes off not being your voice, so you have to be a bit of a tyrant sometimes. And they always mean well, and they always try. But on the other hand, the opposite of that is they're leaving every yeah and you know and all right. These are all things I say to get my brain in alignment, not to, you're not going to listen to her read that. All right, that's I got enough of this sort of half-hearted stuff like this already. It's time to maybe I need to just get in that dark gold now. There it is right there. I know it doesn't look very gold. I'm aware. But it's on the edge of glory. It's got some chroma. I need some oil, get some movement. Needs more chroma. Keep in mind, a lot of this is going to have the brighter over the top. Very much like the lesson I was trying to impart with the clouds. Like if you got bright clouds over blue sky, it's definitely better to have like a gray, where it can meet over the blue, and then bring your highlights. Nice. Trying to avoid definition back here. It's inevitable though. Yeah. That's gonna look fake as we can temper it with not too much with it. Temper it with a little burn number. And burn sander. Just thinking here, where there's like it would be like bushes that are going gold, dead leaves on the ground. I want this underneath. I thought that was going to be excessively red, but all right, now greens. These other, remember here we made that? That would be nice. Those are going to have some, a little more punch, probably more punch than how I mixed it. And how I pre-mixed it, I should say. Yeah, that's nice. Pretty nice. A little bit of red in the brush, but let's see how we go. Might be a bit too close to that, maybe. Yeah, I think a little more oomph. This is a blending move, because the golds is kind of going to be, we're really not that far off. Let's this golds come in. Super happy with how this painting's come together. Okay. Well, it's golds, and then maybe grays first. We got some grays. Where are they? Those are greens. That's a green. Trust me, it's pretty dark here. It looks lighter on the palette than. That's good. Just kind of a neutrally, not too dark, not too light, just to kind of tell the story a little better. Could be warmer. Yeah, now the golds. I fooled you. Gold, finally. Our red. Okay, we'll start with the red. We're going to move in some of this into the red. Make a middle tone. A little more yellowy. I'm going to need some oil because we're pretty much painting wet on wet. This is kind of moves very much like waves. That's why I have extra oil here. So I can just kind of work on top. And this is not the main mass of gold. But I thought, I'll start over here. That's going to be a little more subtle. Let's get into some of this main masses here. It's a little staccato, don't worry, we're going to pull it together. We'll pull it together. It looks like there's paint there, red. Not really. Not much. Just enough to kind of get some of this in. That's certainly not under reference, but good, because you don't want it too lonely. We're going a notch farther. But I said this yesterday on the painting I was doing. If it looks good without those brightest highlights, you know you're doing all right. Because it should do. The brightest highlight should just be an extra payoff. And we don't need a lot of it. I'm going to come in with a little more gray. And I think strengthen the darks. Maybe I'm very happy with the way they look, but there it was. We mixed it. That's brighter, hey? It's still not as bright as a reference, but burning oil. That's really the key to getting your paint on top of paint that's already there. It's oil. There's a couple on the peeling patterns. That's not so nice. Okay. Yeah, a little more softening. And a little more of that hazy gray. Yeah, more than gray. It might be too light. Yeah. It's not too light for some jobs. That job it's too dark. Pardon me. Kind of mixing a gray. Remember those trees I said? Not just these, but everything here seems to be benefiting from a little hazy treatment. It's almost like a scumbling kind of mood.
Yeah. What about the ones down here? Mike, we're just looking at where to put some stuff with this weather.
Ah,
Are you
what
going
weather?
to? Yeah. Because there's some stuff, like there's some bins and all of that sort of stuff along here.
Oh, I'd say whatever happens, happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to get as bad as people think, to be
No.
honest. Nah.
No, hopefully not.
Yeah. But, yeah, thanks for looking out for it. But, I mean, if there's anything valuable, I'm pretty sure everyone tucked it away.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
It's a bit lighter than I thought it was going to be. Okay, might be good to have a little looky in the camera. Gosh, well, I think that's a nice looking painting. I got a couple of issues. Just looking in the camera, minor. All in all, I'm very happy with the way this has turned out. So much so that I'm not hanging on to any of these colors. You never know. I'm not painting tomorrow, but you never know. It's a gray. It's black. Yeah, there is a colorblind artist, John Byrne. He used to work in color. Sometimes he used to get his markers labeled. Nice. Okay. Alright, things that are jumping out to me, like this particular highlight there, I don't think that's working. Make that foliage way better, way better. Same thing kind of goes for this. Is just looking at the camera, my friends. Over here it's a little fragmented, and I don't really want to get in and do a bunch of extra darks because I like the way the darks feel. But that's a little better. Nice. Nice. I'm on the wrong side. That's what's catching my eye right there. And then I'm looking at here. I don't want to be solid, but those darks that I left are just really establishing themselves. That's pretty good. I don't mind a little bit of like staccato there. It's like a focal point, it's brighter. I like those little marks there. They're just a little too. See if I could kind of keep them. But just soften them a little bit. Okay, anything jumping out to me? This seems a little crooked in the camera. It's not too bad, but
next one.
Right, yeah. We have to.
That's mostly oil. See? Diminishing returns at this point. We are done. I might wait 1 second to, as I'm cleaning my brushes, I might wait to see if anything, like these little moves, I could be making these for a while. I don't want to make too many because I like the kind of quality it has. I think it's good. Yeah, when you find you're messing things up more than you're fixing things, that's when you know you're done. See ya. Why did my camera move? Hey, punk. All I did is gonna do us now. See you later.